What's up, everybody? Rob here. So this is something a bit different from my normal videos. You're not really going to be learning about my opinion on anything, nothing really historical or really anything else informational like that. This is just a classic Russian folktale, and you can just go to the time on the screen right there to skip directly to it. I'm just doing some housekeeping stuff right now. In any case, the reason why I'm doing this is two reasons. The first reason is that my life has been pretty hectic for the past couple of weeks, and I haven't had time to finish a script on what I am working on. It is a historical presentation that should be coming out in the next, week or two, give or take. It's kind of complex, especially compared to some of my others, so it's taking longer than anticipated, and I didn't want you guys to forget about me. The other reason is that I am actually bothering to spend money, me being the king of cheapness, actually bothering to spend money on sound dampening foam and trying to get rid of that annoying echo. The room that I do the recordings in is acoustically abysmal. So I just figured I'd, invest in some sound dampening foam, and this is a test to see how that works out. So now this particular tale that I'm reading is from a collection of Russian folk tales, a book that I've enjoyed since my childhood, and I'm hoping to share with all of you. Now, as always, there's the disclaimer that I cannot pronounce foreign words and foreign names especially. Now, I've been listening to the Russian language pretty much my entire life. I can't speak a word of it, and I will undoubtedly get something wrong, so please forgive me in advance. Also, this tale is going to be presented completely without my normal snarky commentary. There's a lot of things I can comment on here, but I will refrain from doing so for the sake of professionalism. And, it's about as professional as I can possibly be, but, there you go. And that's pretty much it. So, any case, hope you enjoy it. Marya Morvena. Translated by Robert Chandler. Illustrations done by Ivan Biblin. In a far-off land, in a far-off kingdom, lived Ivan Tsarovich. He had 3 sisters, Marya Morvena, Olga Morvena, and Anna Morvena. In time, their mother and father both died. On their deathbed, they said to their son, "You must give your sisters to the first men who ask for their hands. Don't keep them at home." Ivan buried his parents. Then he and his sisters went out for a walk in the garden. Suddenly, a black cloud appeared over their heads. A terrible storm came up. "Quick, sisters, we must get back inside," said Ivan Tsarovich. As soon as they were back in the palace, there was a clap of thunder. The ceiling split open, and a bright falcon swooped into the room. It flew straight to the door, turned into a handsome young warrior, and said, "Good day, Ivan Tsarovich. I came before as a guest. Now I've come as a suitor. I want the hand of your sister, Marya Morvena. If my sister's willing, I'm not going to stand in the way. God bless you." Marya Morvena agreed. The falcon married her and carried her off to his kingdom. Hours followed hours. Days followed days. A whole year went by so quickly that you could hardly notice it. Ivan and his sisters went out for a walk in the garden. A black cloud appeared, a whirlwind, then lightning. "Quick, sisters, we must get back inside," said Ivan Tsarovich. As soon as they were in the palace again, there was a clap of thunder, the roof fell apart, the ceiling split open, and an eagle flew in. It flew straight to the floor and turned into a handsome young warrior. "Good day, Ivan Tsarovich. I came before as a guest. Now I've come as a suitor. I want the hand of your sister, Olga Morvena. If my sister's willing, I'm not going to stand in the way. God bless you." Olga Morvena agreed and was given in marriage to the eagle. The eagle snatched her up and carried her off to his kingdom. A 3rd year went by. Ivan Tsarovich said to his younger sister, "Come on, let's go for a walk in the garden." They walked about for a while. A storm cloud appeared, a terrible wind, then lightning. "Quick, Anna, we must get back inside." They rushed back. Before they had time to sit down, a clap of thunder rang out. The ceiling split apart, and in flew a raven. It flew straight to the floor and turned to a handsome young warrior. The first 2 had been handsome enough, but they were nothing beside him. "Ivan Tsarovich, I came before as a guest, now I've come as a suitor. Give me the hand of Anna Morvena. My sister's a free woman. If she loves you, then marry her." Anna Morvena married the raven, and he carried her off to his kingdom. Ivan Tsarovich lived alone for a whole year. He felt sad. One day he decided to go out and look for his sisters. He got everything ready and set off. He rode a long way. One day he came across a field covered by a whole army of corpses. He shouted out, "If there's one of you left alive, answer me. Who was it that defeated this great army?" One man there was still alive, and he replied, "We were defeated by Marya Morvena, the beautiful Morvena." Ivan Tsarovich journeyed until he came into a splendid camp. Marya Morvena walked out to meet him. "Good day, Ivan Tsarovich. Where are you going?" Do you travel from choice or from need? I am a free man, answered Ivan Tsarovich. I do what I choose to do. Well then, said Marya Morvena, why don't you come here and stay with me for a while? Ivan Tsarovich was only too glad to agree. He stayed 2 nights, and Marya Morvena fell in love with him. They married. Marya Morvena took him with her to her kingdom. For a while they lived happily together, but then Maria took it to her head to go to war. She left everything in the hands of Ivan Tsarovich. All she said to him was, go wherever you like, look at whatever you like, but one thing you must do is never open the door of this storeroom. Ivan Tsarovich was just like the rest of us. As soon as Marya Morvena was gone, he rushed straight to the storeroom, opened the door, and looked in. There hung Koshi the Deathless. He was bound by 12 iron chains. Have pity on me, said Koshi. Give me something to drink. I've been hanging here for 10 years without food or water. My throat feels like sandpaper. Ivan Tsarovich brought him a bucket of water, which Koshi drank in 1 gulp. I need more than 1 bucket. Bring me another. Ivan brought him a second bucket. Koshi drank it down and asked for a third. And he swallowed the last drop. All of his old strength came back to him. With one shake of his body, he snapped the 12 chains. You're very kind, said Koshi, but I'm afraid you won't be seeing any more of Marya Morvena. No, you're more likely to see her again than you are to catch sight of your own ears. He turned into a terrible whirlwind and flew out of the window. He found Marya Morvena, snatched her up, and carried her back to his home. Ivan Tsarovich cried and cried. Then he dried his eyes and got ready to go on a journey. He set off. He walked for a day. He walked for a second day. On the dawn of the 3rd day he came to a wonderful place. Beside it stood an oak tree, and on the oak tree perched a bright falcon. The falcon swooped down, flew straight to the ground, and turned into a handsome young warrior. My brother-in-law, how are you then? What's new in the world? Princess Mary ran out, embraced Ivan Tsarovich, and then began asking him to tell her everything that had happened to him. Then she told him how things had been with her. Ivan stayed with her as a guest for 3 days, and then said, I'm sorry, I can't stay any longer. I must search for my wife, Marya Morvena, the beautiful Tsarevna. You won't find that easy, said the falcon. Leave us your silver spoon at least, then we'll have something to remember you by. Ivan set out. He walked for a day. He walked for a second day. On the 3rd day, he came to a second palace. It was even more beautiful than the first one. Nearby stood an oak tree. On the oak tree perched an eagle. The eagle swooped down, flew straight to the ground, and turned into a handsome young warrior, and called out, Olga Tsarevna, quick, it's our brother. Olga Tsarevna ran out to meet him. She began hugging and kissing him and asking him to tell her everything that had happened. Then she told him how things had been with her. Ivan stayed as her guest for 3 days and then said, I can't stay with you any longer. I must search for my wife, Marya Morvena, the beautiful Tsarevna. You won't find that easy, said the eagle. Leave us your silver fork, just in case. Then we'll have something to remember you by. Ivan gave them his silver fork and set off. He walked for a day. He walked for a second day. On the dawn of the 3rd day, he came to a 3rd palace. It was even more splendid than the second one. Beside it stood an oak tree. On the oak tree perched a raven. The raven swooped down, flew straight to the ground, turned into a handsome young warrior, and shouted out, Anna Tsarevna, come here, it's your brother. Anna Tsarevna came out. She hugged and kissed Ivan and told him to tell her everything that had happened to him. Then she told him how things had been with her. Ivan stayed with her for 3 days and said, God be with you, brother and sister. I must search for my wife, Marya Morvena, the beautiful Tsarevna. You won't find her that easy, answered the raven. Leave us your silver snuff box at least. Then we'll have something to remember you by. Ivan gave him his silver snuff box, said goodbye, and then set off. He walked for a day. He walked for a second day. On the morning of the 3rd day, he found Marya Morvena. As soon as she caught sight of him, she threw herself into his arms, burst out sobbing, and said, Ivan Tsarovich, why didn't you listen to me? Why did you look in the storeroom and let out Koshi the Deathless? Forgive me, Marya Morvena, but let us not cry over spilt milk. You must come with me, quick, before Koshi comes back. They got ready and set out. Koshi had been out hunting that day. He was returning in the evening. His horse stumbled. What's up with you, you old nag? Is there something the matter at home? Ivan Tsarovich has come and taken Marya Morvena with him, answered the horse. Can you catch up with them? If you were to sow a field of wheat, wait for it to grow, reap it, and thresh it, winnow it, grind it into flour, bake 5 ovenfuls of bread, eat the bread, and only then set out. Even then we would catch up with them. Koshi galloped off. It wasn't long before he caught up with Ivan Tsarovich. Well, he said, I'll pardon you once for the water you gave me. I'll even pardon you a second time. But after that, I'll cut you to pieces." He took Marya Morvena and carried her back. Ivan Tsarovich sat on a stone and began to cry. He cried and cried. And he went back again for Marya Morvena. Koshi the Deathless was out. "Let's go, Marya Morvena." "But Ivan Tsarovich, he'll catch up with us in no time." "Let him. At least we'll be able to spend an hour or two together." As Koshi made his way back in the evening, his horse stumbled. "What's up with you, you old nag? Is there something the matter at home?" Ivan Tsarovich had come and taken Marya Morvena with him. "Can you catch up with them? If you were to sow a field of barley, wait for it to grow, reap it and thresh it, winnow it, make beer out of it, get yourself drunk, sleep off the hangover, and only then set out, even then we could still catch up with them." Koshi galloped off. He caught up with Ivan Tsarovich in no time. "I warned you, Ivan. It'll be as hard for you to see Marya Morvena again as to catch sight of your own ears." Ivan Tsarovich was left on his own again. He cried and cried. Once more he went back for Marya Morvena. Once more Koshi was out hunting. "Let's go, Marya Morvena." "But Ivan Tsarovich, this time he'll cut you to pieces." "Let him. I can't live without you." They got ready and set off. That evening Koshi's horse stumbled again. "What's up with you, you old nag? Is there something the matter at home?" Ivan Tsarovich has come and taken Marya Morvena with him again. Koshi galloped off, caught up with Ivan Tsarovich, cut him to tiny pieces, stuffed the pieces into a barrel, sealed the barrel with pitch, bound it with iron hoops, and threw it into the blue sea, and took Marya Morvena back home with him. Just then the pieces of silver that Ivan had left with his 3 brothers-in-law grew dark and tarnished. "Aye, aye, aye," they cried. "Something terrible must have happened." The eagle flew straight to the blue sea, snatched up the barrel, and carried it back to the shore. The falcon then flew off to fetch the water of life. The raven flew off to fetch the water of death. 3 birds met together, smashed open the barrel, took out all the pieces of Ivan Tsarovich, gave them a good wash, and put them together again in the right order. The raven sprinkled the pieces with the water of death, and they all joined together. The falcon sprinkled the body with the water of life. Ivan Tsarovich gasped, got to his feet, and said, "Goodness me, I must have been sleeping for days." "You'd have slept even longer if it weren't for us," said the brothers. "Now you must come and stay with us for a while." "No, I'm sorry, my brothers. I must go find Marya Morvena." When he found Marya Morvena, he said simply, "Get Koshi the Deathless to tell you where he found such a fine horse." Marya waited for the right moment and began questioning Koshi. He answered, "Beyond the thrice-9th land, in the thrice-10th kingdom, on the other side of a river of fire, lives Baba Yaga. She has a mare who carries her round the world every day, and she has many other fine horses. I worked for her for 3 days as a herdsman. I didn't lose a single horse, so she paid me with one of her foals." "How did you get across the river of fire?" "I've got a magic handkerchief. I only have to wave it 3 times over my right shoulder, and it becomes a tall bridge. It's too high for the flames to reach." Marya Morvena remembered every word he said, repeated them to Ivan Tsarovich, and stole the handkerchief. Ivan Tsarovich crossed the river of fire and set off to find Baba Yaga. He traveled a long way with no food or drink. Then he saw a strange bird from over the sea. With it was a family of chicks. "I'll have one of those chicks to eat," he said. "No, Ivan Tsarovich, don't. One day we'll be able to help you." He went further on. Deep in the forest he found a hive of bees. "Well," he said, "I think I'll help myself to a little honey." The queen bee sang out in answer, "No, Ivan Tsarovich, don't touch my honey. One day I'll be able to help you." He left the honey alone. Further on he found a lioness playing with her cubs. "Well," he said, "I'll help myself to one of those cubs. Otherwise I'll die of hunger. Don't, Ivan Tsarovich. One day I'll be able to help you." "All right then, but don't forget." He wandered hungrily on. After a long time he reached Baba Yaga's house. Outside it stood a circle of 12 poles. All of them except one were crowned with a human head. "Good day, grandmother." "Good day, Ivan Tsarovich. What are you doing here? Have you come from choice or from need?" "I've come to work for you. I want one of your foals." "As you wish, Ivan Tsarovich. You won't have to work long, only 3 days. If you look after my mares well, you can have one to keep. But if you lose one, then I'll chop your head off and stick it on the last pole. Agreed?" Ivan Tsarovich nodded his head. Baba Yaga had given him food and drink and set him to work. Ivan let the mares out from the stable. They flicked up their tails and ran far away over the meadows. They were out of sight before he can even look around. He sat down on a stone and began to cry. After a while he fell asleep. The sun was already setting when the strange bird from over the sea flew up to Ivan Tsarovich and woke him. Get up, Ivan Tsarovich. The horses are all back in their stalls. Ivan Tsarovich got to his feet and walked back. Baba Yaga was cursing and shouting at her mares. Why did you all come back? What else could we do? Flocks of birds flew down from all over the world. They nearly pecked out our eyes. All right then, tomorrow you must go to the forest instead. Ivan Tsarovich had a good night's sleep. In the morning, Baba Yaga said to him, You better look out for yourself, Ivan Tsarovich. If one mare doesn't come back home tonight, then tomorrow your handsome head will be sticking up on that pole over there. Ivan let the mares out of the stables. They flickered up their tails and ran deep into the forest. Ivan Tsarovich sat down on his stone, began to cry, and fell asleep. He slept all day. At sunset, the lion came up and said, Get up, Ivan Tsarovich. The horses are all safe and in their stalls. Ivan Tsarovich got to his feet and walked back. Baba Yaga was screaming and swearing at her mares. She was even angrier than the day before. Why did you all come home? What else could we do? Wild beasts came after us from all over the world. They nearly tore us to pieces. All right, tomorrow you must go to the Blue Sea. Ivan Tsarovich slept all night. In the morning, Baba Yaga sent him out again with her horses. Take care, Ivan Tsarovich. If you lose one mare, then tomorrow your handsome head will be sticking up on that pole over there. Ivan let the horses out of the stables. They flicked up their tails, ran straight out of sight, and disappeared into the Blue Sea. Ivan Tsarovich sat down on a stone, began to cry, and fell asleep. The sun set behind the forest. A bee flew up to him and said, Get up, Ivan Tsarovich. We've rounded up your horses for you. Go back now, but don't let Baba Yaga see you. Hide in the stables behind the manger. There's one filthy, scabby foal that lies about all day in the dung. That's the one you must steal, but wait until midnight. Ivan Tsarovich got up, made his way to the stables, and hid behind the manger. Baba Yaga was cursing and swearing at her mares again. Why did you have to come back again? We couldn't help it. There were more bees than you've ever seen in your life. They must have come from all over the world. They flew at us from all sides and began stinging us right to the bone. Baba Yaga went to bed. At midnight, Ivan Tsarovich took the scabby foal, saddled it, and galloped towards the river of fire. He waved his handkerchief 3 times in the air over his right shoulder. There stood a tall, splendid bridge. Ivan Tsarovich crossed the bridge and waved his handkerchief 2 times over his left shoulder. The bridge was still there, but it was much thinner. Next morning, Baba Yaga found out that her foal was missing. She galloped off furiously on her iron mortar, spurring it on with her pestle, sweeping up the tracks with a broom. She came to the river of fire, looked up, and thought to herself, What a splendid bridge! The bridge collapsed when she was halfway across. Baba Yaga was flung headfirst into the river and died a painful death. Ivan Tsarovich fattened up his foal in some lush meadows. In a few days it grew into a fine stallion. Ivan rode once more to Marya Morvena. She ran out and threw herself into his arms. You're still alive, she cried out. He told her all that had happened, kissed her, and said, Come on then, let's go. But Ivan Tsarovich, I'm frightened. What if Koshi catches up with us and hacks you to pieces again? He won't catch up with us this time. My horse can fly like the wind. They mounted and set off. As Koshi rode back in the evening, his horse nearly fell. What's up with you, you old nag? Is there something the matter at home? Ivan Tsarovich has come and taken Marya Morvena away with him. Can you catch up with them? I don't know. Ivan Tsarovich has a new horse that's even faster than I am. No, said Koshi the Deathless. I won't stand for it. I don't know how many hours or how many days he rode, but in the end he caught up with Ivan Tsarovich. He leapt to the ground. He was just about to slash at him with his sword when Ivan's horse gave him a good hard kick and smashed his skull to splinters. Ivan Tsarovich finished him off with his cudgel. After that, Ivan Tsarovich lit a huge bonfire, burnt Koshi's body to ashes, and scattered them to the 4 winds. Marya Morvena mounted Koshi's horse, Ivan Tsarovich sat on his own, and they rode off. They went first to the raven, then to the eagle, and then to the falcon. In each palace they were greeted with great joy. Ivan Tsarovich, we thought we'd never set eyes on you again. Well, now we know why you had to go on all those journeys. There can't be another such beauty as your wife in the whole world. They stayed for a while in each palace, were toasted at many feasts, and finally set off for their own kingdom. They lived happily together, grew rich, and drank lots of mead. The end. So that's it for the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like and subscribe button. More videos of the much more conventional sort for me coming in the relatively near future. And that's pretty much it. Have a good day or don't have a good day. You're adults. Have any kind of day you want. I believe in freedom. You're free to choose the kind of day you have. See you later.